We were shown at least 4 new locations, but few people know what they hide and what actions will take place there. Hello everyone. In the recent so-called trailer of the new episode, we were shown 4 new locations: Candy Canyon Kingdom, the Spudsies, some kind of stadium, and a mystical house. However, these are not all the new locations that will be shown in the new episode. Let's start our video to learn not only about all the new locations, but also about the secrets and mysteries they hold. And the first location I would like to talk about is the most popular location among viewers, Candy Canyon Kingdom. We only saw a little bit of it, but I can tell you a lot about it. If you look at Dino's picture, you can see that Candy Canyon Kingdom is very big, maybe even several times the size of the digital circus. This means that the creators have something in store for us that we don't even know about. I think many of you have already realized that Candy Canyon Kingdom is not some kind of extension or continuation of the digital circus. If you take a closer look at this moment, you can easily see that at least 2 of the familiar characters are sitting in this car. I'm talking about Jax and Kinger, or maybe all the other characters are there and you can see that they were brought there by Gummy Elephant. I think that in order to get to Candy Canyon Kingdom, you have to travel a great distance. And most likely Kane just teleported all of our characters to the beginning of the new location, where they were met by a guide. And the guide in our case will be Dino, because in his background we see only bare terrain, and on the territory of Candy Canyon Kingdom, there is some castle in which lives this interesting and very, very sweet princess. Most likely, Candy Canyon Kingdom will be one of the 2 locations that will take up most of the time in the new episode. The action that will take place in the new location will not be much different from what we were shown in the pilot episode. Of course, I'm not saying they'll be absolutely identical, but the structure may be very similar. And this picture with this so-called Choco King and another character, but we will talk about him later. Most likely, the Choco King is a reference to the Gloinks Queen, but only in the Candy Canyon Kingdom universe. This means that somewhere in Candy Kingdom there will be a secret location with one of the bosses. Who will create it is still unknown, but it is believed that the princess of Candy Canyon Kingdom has the same abilities as Kane in the digital circus, which means that she can easily create various tasks that our characters will have to fulfill. This is also supported by the fact that the location of the Choco King is not shown in any of the pictures. By the way, as I promised, let's talk about the last image from Candy Canyon Kingdom. It shows a blue mannequin with horror and panic on its face. But in this video, we are more interested in the background behind him. I'm really amazed at how delicious everything looks in Candy Kingdom, because even the castle looks like I'd jump on it and eat every last bite. I'm sure Candy Canyon Kingdom will be the very first location shown in the new episode. And if you think that Kane will be involved in its creation in any way, you are sorely mistaken. The amazing digital circus is just one part of a huge set that includes several locations, and each of these locations has main characters. In the digital circus, it is Kane, and in Candy Canyon Kingdom, it is the princess. But of course, they can interact with each other, which will be shown in the second episode. Most likely, we will see that many of the characters will tell our administrator that they are tired of the circus and want something new. And after Kane teleports them to Candy Kingdom, the most interesting events of the first half of the new episode will begin. Our Dino will meet them and tell them how to get to the main location, Candy Canyon Castle. There they will be met by a pink princess. In the previous videos we called her Prin Peach, so today we will call her that. Prin Peach will be happy to greet our heroes and tell them about everything that happens within the walls of this sweet place. But remember, as I mentioned before, Choco King, this fat man will be the main villain of Candy Kingdom. Most likely at the moment when our characters are playing, eating, and having fun with Prin Peach, he will appear and disturb their beautiful environment. After that, Prin Peach will say that this was done on purpose. And now our characters must find the answer to the riddle of how to destroy this monster. And gradually we will see how they will solve various puzzles, pass tests, and many other things, and in the end they will meet Chocolate King, and at that moment, something terrible will happen between them. Everyone will try to destroy their enemy, and in the background, Prin Peach will be watching them with Kane. And because of all this horror, the rest of the Candy Canyon Kingdom characters will be forced to flee in terror as far away from the scene as possible. The picture of the mannequin actually proves this. But of course, our heroes will manage to deal with the Choco King and get their reward. I think it will be a wonderful dinner, like at the end of the pilot episode. However, instead of the usual food, we will see tons of candy. After their meal, they will go back to the digital circus where they will go to bed. However, things will not go as smoothly as Kane and Prin Peach planned, and as usual, Jax will show his worst side and will bully the others again instead of helping them. And this behavior of Jax makes our Kane very tired, and he decides to teach our bully a little lesson. The scene at the fast food restaurant called Spudsies shows us just that. Remember the mention of minimum wage.
And let's not forget about minimum wage labor.
I think that was said for a reason, and to let us know that Jax is clearly going through a rough patch because of his past behavior. I think Spudsies itself is not a punishment, but just a place that Kane created specifically for our bunny. I'm sure the punishment for Jax is that he has to pay for everything now, and in order to make a living in the digital circus, he has to work somewhere. Look how much he hates what he does, and Kane has to force him to do it. And then I have to tell you about Spudsies' administrator. This blue monster named Bub was also created by Kane and will disappear once Jax has earned the forgiveness of the other characters. It turns out that our Bub is only a temporary NPC. I'm very sad to hear this news because this character is already one of my favorites of all the newcomers, and his role will be that of an evil manager who is always dissatisfied with his employees' work. But I'm sure that all the scenes with Jax will be shown to us parallel to the main plot, and there will be 2 scenes in total. The first one after the return from Candy Canyon Kingdom, and the second one closer to the end of the second episode. Before we get to the most mysterious location of the new episode, I would like to tell you about another location that we were shown in the trailer. And it's the same stadium that has so many fans of the digital circus so excited. Of course, I'm talking about the stadium that will appear not in the second episode, but I think somewhere in the 4th or 5th episode. And I have a hunch that it's going to be the biggest location we've ever seen. And if you think about it, we already saw it in the pilot. I think everybody knows a location like the Void. And at the end of the pilot episode, Kane admitted that this is not the exit from the digital circus at all, but just one of his projects that is in development. And most likely it will be replaced by a stadium, because it would be strange if Kane was building 2 new locations at the same time. And judging by the size of the Void, our stadium will be very, very big. So let's be patient and wait for new episodes to see this location in its final form. Now let's take a look at a very spooky location, Mystic House. We were not told about it directly, but based on the character photos, we can understand that this location will definitely appear in the new episode. I already told you that Candy Canyon Kingdom will take up the first half of the second episode, but the second part will be all about this creepy but very interesting house. I already told you that Ghosty is the main mistress of the mystical house, and this is a cute gopher, her favorite pet, named Goofy. And the villain of this place is Tapey, and now how our characters got there. The day after they returned from the Candy Canyon Kingdom, the characters rested and regained their strength because Kane warned them that they would soon have to go on another journey, which they would probably not like. And after a few days, we saw Kane wake everyone up and immediately send them to the Mystic House, where they found out that Ghosty and Goofy lived quietly for a long time, taking care of the house. But then Tapey appeared, and his main goal is to take over the Mystic House. And after our characters learned all this, Kane appeared in front of them and told them what to expect from that day on, and to make them aware that Tapey can create monsters and that he is willing to destroy absolutely any character for his goal. And to protect them from these monsters, Ghosty has built many traps and puzzles in the house. And to get out of it, they have to solve all the puzzles and traps that we will see in the second part of the episode. And at the end of this location, we will see the scene with Kinger, where Tapey will be destroyed. I think that will be the end of their adventure in the new location. After that, they will successfully return to the digital circus, and Kinger will take his shotgun with him. And of course, I really want to tell you about 2 more locations that we could theoretically see in the new episode, but even if it happens, it will only be a small fragment. I'm talking about the lake with the yacht and the amusement park. Judging by what we saw in the trailer or in the pilot episode, those locations are completely finished and will be shown to us in the future, but whether it will be in the second episode or later is still a mystery to us. It's time to wish you success and good luck and say see you soon in new videos that appear every 2 days.